I can't remember my name. I can't recognize the faces of my wife or my children. And every day I wake up in a bed, not knowing where I am or how I got there. The sad truth is, for millions of Americans, this is the harsh reality. I'm talking about Alzheimer's disease. In this speech, I will answer 3 questions. What is Alzheimer's disease? How can Alzheimer's disease be diagnosed or treated? And what is the progression of Alzheimer's disease? What is Alzheimer's disease? Alzheimer's disease, AD, is the most common form of dementia. It causes a patient to lose memory skills or cognitive abilities. According to Alzheimer's disease, A Forgotten Life, a text by Elaine Landau, it is the 4th leading cause of death in older people in the United States. According to the Alzheimer's Project, Momentums in Science, a text by Susan Framke and John Hoffman, AD occurs when an abnormal protein is found in the brain, and fibers inside of the neurons become twisted and tangled. Meanwhile, plaques form outside of the neurons. According to the text, neurons work as messengers and communicate through pathways called synapses. Now, the plaques and twisted fibers found in the neurons cause the neurons to grow sick and die, and as a result, the synapses grow cold and die as well. According to the text by Landau, AD can be broken down into 3 stages. In the first stage of Alzheimer's, a patient becomes noticeably forgetful, not of big things yet, things like acquaintances' names or where they placed something that earlier, such as car keys or remote control. The loss of memory can be a normal part of aging, but as the disease progresses, it becomes evident that it is not just aging, but something more serious. In the second stage of Alzheimer's disease, people have frequent mood swings, and they will develop frequent bursts of panic or anxiety for no reason. They will need help performing tasks such as eating, dressing, and using the bathroom. In the third stage of Alzheimer's disease, a patient's cognitive abilities and memory skills have completely eroded. They can't remember how to perform the simplest tasks or articulate their simplest desires, and their body becomes susceptible to disease and illness, which is often the cause of their death. Now that I've explained what Alzheimer's is, I'd like to talk a little bit about possible treatments and the diagnosis for Alzheimer's disease. According to the text by Landau, until recently, AD could not be diagnosed definitely, with the exception of autopsies. The process of determining whether someone had Alzheimer's disease was simply a process of ruling out other forms of dementia and memory disorders. Today it is still very true that the process of determining this involves ruling out other forms of dementia, but according to the text by Framke and Hoffman, MRI scans can detect Alzheimer's in the brain. Sadly today, there is no cure or effective preventative vaccine for Alzheimer's disease. According to the text by Framke and Hoffman, in 2002, Dr. Dale Shank and a team of researchers performed trial runs on a potential preventative vaccine for Alzheimer's disease. This vaccine involved the beta amyloid plaque, a plaque normally found in the brain of people with Alzheimer's. They hoped that injecting it into their body would help them to fight it off and build up an immunization for it. They performed trial runs on mice, and after the mice had died, autopsies showed that the beta amyloid plaque was not found in their brain and their cognitive abilities had increased. Unfortunately, when this test was given to humans, 6% of the people tested on developed life-threatening brain inflammations. The FDA guidelines state that clinical trials for possible vaccines for Alzheimer's disease can only be given to people who already suffer from Alzheimer's disease. This is controversial because once Alzheimer's disease is detected in the brain, it has already worked and done irreversible damage to the brain. Therefore, this might prevent researchers from getting an effective Alzheimer's vaccine on the market. Now that I've talked about the diagnosis and treatments for Alzheimer's, I'd like to talk about the progression of Alzheimer's disease. According to the text by Landau, in 1980, just over 2 million Americans suffered from Alzheimer's disease. In 2005, over 4.5 million Americans suffered from the disease. And according to an article by Steven Reinberg in usnews.com, today it is estimated that 5.1 million Americans suffer from Alzheimer's disease. According to Reinberg, the annual cost of care for a patient of Alzheimer's, or for patients of Alzheimer's across the country, is $200 billion. By 2050, it is projected that 15 million Americans will suffer from the disease, and the annual cost of care will be between $500 and $700 million. The number is expected to triple as the baby boom generation reaches old age, life expectancy becomes longer, and more individuals reach old age. In this speech, I've talked about three things. What is Alzheimer's? How can Alzheimer's disease be diagnosed and treated? And what is the progression of the disease? AD is a devastating disease, and by 2050 it is estimated that it will affect every American's life in one way or another. I don't mean to sound dark. I truly do believe that there's hope for preventing Alzheimer's and reaching a cure in the near future. But I think the most important step is to raise awareness, because without that, there's no hope for fighting this devastating disease. Thank you.